Rob and Kale Podcasts. Rob Sanders.
Some would be entertained by it. Some would be horrified by
Kale
it.
Carolina Jackpot Hall.
All would be interested in it.
The Rob and Kale Podcasts.
Let's go.
And welcome into the Rob and Kale Podcast. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this evening. I come to you from Columbia, South Carolina, where there is still Commodore blood on the freeway as the South Carolina Gamecocks beat the holy hell out of Vanderbilt yesterday, 46-7. Yeah, we'll bring in my podcast co-host. He is the fan of that team that did the bludgeoning yesterday, Mr. Carolina Jackpot, Kale Hall.
Guilty of the crime. Guilty of the crime. How's everybody doing this evening?
That was the best that I've seen your Gamecocks look in a long time, Jackpot. We could say Vanderbilt sucks, but you still have to go out there and play and do your thing, and there's a lot of things that the Gamecocks look bad at in certain spots, but they really came together yesterday and knocked the holy hell out of Vanderbilt. They really did.
Yeah, I will say this. South Carolina beat Vanderbilt by a larger margin than any SEC team has this season. Type about it. We did.
Well, there you go. Alex says they beat Vanderbilt worse than Georgia did.
Beat
Yeah.
them worse than Georgia did. Beat them worse than Auburn did. Beat them worse than Kentucky did. Beat them worse than Florida did. But hey, what's up, right?
All right. Well, we have a lot to go over this evening. We got to talk about Jimbo Fisher being fired. We got to talk about what else do we got to talk about? Jackpot gave me a scolding yesterday via text message saying that he was upset with me that I did not believe in the Mazad folks, the Mizzou folks.
Yeah.
I had to apologize. I really did. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about the next matchup for South Carolina is Kentucky. We'll get into that. And we'll get Jackpot's thoughts on if South Carolina can win out. Yeah, we'll talk about that and a lot more this evening here on the Rob and Kale Show. By the way, gearing up for our live show at Callaway's Bar and Grill, on Highway 1, diagonal from the Walmart in West Columbia, the day after Thanksgiving. You know your wife's going to go to the store and spend a bunch of money on some stuff. You might as well come out and hang out with Jackpot and I. All right, we're going to have our live show there. We're going to be doing all kinds of we're going to do trivia. We're going to give away. We got some bourbon that we've got. I mean, just all kinds of cool stuff going on. In addition to that, a Golden Tea tournament. If you're into the Golden Tea, you know how big that is. That's going to start that morning. And Jackpot will make his appearance that evening after he tickles the potato chips. And it's going to be a good time at Callaway's Bar and Grill. And we appreciate it.
I'm going to tickle the potato chips and they're going to laugh.
Yeah. You're the head potato chip tickler.
Yeah, that's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. You can tickle the chips.
48 years on this earth, and that's my claim to fame. Hey, it is what it is.
Hold on now. I wasn't mocking you, sir. I was not trying to mock you on that. I was just goofing about you taking care of the tater chips. Anyway, we look forward to seeing you guys there. Shout out to the folks who sent messages about that. Yeah, it's going to be a really good time at Callaway's in West Columbia. So thank them for sponsoring the Rob and Kale Callaway's Challenge. Getting down to the nitty gritty on that, Jackpot. Getting
down to crunch time.
Yeah, the average score this week was 6.5, I think it was. And a couple people got in the 9s. So congratulations to them. Yeah, so we're getting down to it.
Yeah, I ended up winning. I ended up with 7. Mm-hmm. And I actually made a pick, and I made the wrong pick. I don't mean, hey, I made this pick and it didn't come through. I actually picked wrong. I clicked on Kentucky, and that was a fuck up. I meant to pick on Alabama. I've said it all week long. I mean, I thought that line was wrong. I'm like, I looked at that line. I had to do a double take at it, and I was like, okay. And I was hurrying, trying to get those picks in yesterday morning early. I pick them here on the show, but I always just punch them in then. And Yeah.
Well, and to be fair,
I picked Kentucky by mistake. So,
in
anyway.
addition to taking care of your picks, you have to go and get cousin Craig and sit his happy ass down and get his picks and put those in. That takes some effort too.
Yeah,
and
he hasn't submitted his picks the past 2 weeks, so I don't know. He might still be on a drunk. Who knows? Clemson started winning games again, so I think it did something to him.
I don't know, but normally you're having to hustle him down on Saturday mornings to get his picks, and so there's that. All right, so we thank Callaway's for that. By the way, I put this out earlier today. If you would like to sponsor the show for the upcoming event, you want to get it in front of some people, that's kind of the way to go. And everything that we get is going to go to benefit the Pace Academy too. So, yeah, it's going to be great. But if you would like to do that, let us know. You can reach out to me on Twitter at RobSoundsGood. rosanders1979@gmail.com. That is the address if you want to help out with that. All right, we also have DNC Trucking and Transport. They sponsor the Fireside Chats with Uncle Jackpot. Jackpot, read us a story, sir.
All right. It sucks to be a Gamecock. My team is worse than the smell of my ass tonight after chili. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
That's some funny shit. All right, well, we'll take
Literally.
your call tonight too. Yeah, there's the link. It's right there in the chat if you'd like to join the show. Jackpot, apparently, now I wasn't following along, but yesterday, did you get into it with Mark Ryan about something or another? Because you were want me to set up the stream as quickly as possible. You wanted to send it to Mark Ryan to bring him.
No, I
in.
didn't. I did not. I didn't get into it with him about anything. He just put up. He's constantly putting up things on Twitter. He's constantly, he fancies himself a neutral, reporter and talk show host here in the Upstate, and he's always putting up things to kind of dig at the Gamecocks. It seems like, after yesterday, he said he's seemingly convinced that the Palmetto Bowl will be a one-sided affair. So
right.
I'd like to get him on this show, and I asked him about coming on here tonight. He couldn't come tonight, but may possibly be able to be here Wednesday night. And I want to ask him his thoughts on that and why we, why we think that.
Well, what he should be concerned with is the fact that he's a Florida grad and Florida's program is in the shitter. Maybe that's something that
he was. Yeah, it was on there today. He was talking about, he's firmly convinced they need to get rid of Billy Napier now. Blah blah blah. After last night's effort, and I'm like, I typed up something and sent it up. I was like, with all due respect, sir, I'm like, did you really think you were gonna go to LSU and win at nighttime on the road? I mean, probably not the best spot for a team that's kind of reeling. Just saying. I mean, it's probably not a good get right spot for you.
Alex says, "I bet Tennessee fans will be in here tonight." Well, Alex, there are Tennessee fans. Billy's going to be here regardless. He's here every week. We goof on Billy, but he's going to be here.
Yeah. It's not like they lost to a shithole. It's not like they went out there and crapped the bed against Vanderbilt or. They lost 39-7. Jackpot. They're the only team in SEC history to give up to one player 200 yards on the ground and 100 yards through the air. Ugh.
Schrader is the only player in the history of the conference, the entire conference, to do that in a game. And there's been some great freaking players that have played in that conference.
Oh, wait, real quick here. I got to read this comment from Marty. He says Air Force shit the bed against Hawaii last night. Did they lose?
Did they hell, I don't know.
They lost to Hawaii.
That's some. Look at Chang doing his thing out there. If they did, hold on, I'm pulling that up right now. I'm not doubting you, but I got to look at the score for that because holy shit. Let's see. That's a Mountain West matchup. Yes, Hawaii beat Air Force 27-13.
Wow.
What the fuck is going on here?
I remember a couple of weeks ago, everybody said, "Oh, Air Force may be the Group of Five representative in the New Year's Six game." Yeah, not so much. They lost to Army. What was it, 23-3 or something? I think Army broke Air Force.
Yeah, that may be true. Let's bring Justin in really quick here before we get into some stuff. Justin, what's up, buddy?
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Hey, guys.
Good, man. What's your show? Go ahead, man.
Hey, guys. I feel good yesterday. I can't believe we beat the death. We had beat those guys to death for a long time. Right, Carolina Jackpot?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been a little bit closer than I'd like it to be. They're not a very good team. I mean, they're pretty bad. They're on like a backup quarterback, and they don't have any wide receivers. They're just not good.
I agree, Carolina Jackpot. I feel bad for Vanderbilt. I mean, look, they did all they could do, because you will play so many different people. This is tough, Carolina Jackpot.
Yeah, man, it's true.
Yeah,
I don't know. When Oklahoma and Texas are in next year, I don't know how they're going to survive. I don't know how they'll ever win an SEC game. Maybe once every 5 years or something, we can celebrate them winning and just to win an SEC game. It's going to be tough for them.
Yeah. Hey, guys, before I go, man, Jimbo Fisher got fired today at Texas because it was something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a very good football coach, Justin.
He brought in too many good players, and they didn't do good things. I mean, they didn't win enough games. Should have been winning double-digit games every year, and they're winning like 7-8 games a year. It's not enough.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, hey, guys, one thing about Texas, they never won the West,
man. They hadn't won the West. They got all that money and can't win anything. That's true, man.
That's true. Well, guys, what's I have to say, man? Take care. Go Gamecocks.
Go Gamecocks.
You have a good night, all right?
You too, Watt.
There you go, Justin joining the program. Let's talk a little bit about that, Jackpot. The thing with Jimbo Fisher is that if you look at his track record, and I know this sounds like I'm being harsh here, but the guy hasn't been right since his wife got caught doing things with the Florida trainer. I mean, and that's just real. They were great that season. They had issues in right after that season was over where she was allegedly doing stuff with a Florida trainer. It came out that she left the house and then they got divorced, and he hasn't been worth a shit since. In addition to that,
by doing stuff with the trainer, you mean playing hide the sausage with him, right?
Yeah, I was trying to be sort of G-rated because my daughter's standing right here. I didn't want to break out the hefty words there, but that's basically what was happening.
Well, she doesn't have to know that hide the sausage isn't something they do at Pizza Hut.
Okay, fair enough, Jackpot. Anyway, there was stuff that was happening there with a Florida trainer that he hasn't been the same since. Now, in addition to that, the Florida athletic director came out and said, look, he left our program in shambles, especially on the academic front. He didn't do what he needed to do there to keep some players eligible, etc. This guy's been really bad since 2016, and yet went and got another job at a great job, in my opinion, at A&M. I mean, you got all the money, all the support, everything that you could possibly want, and they gave him a shit ton of money. But you could see the writing on the wall from a mile away. And it's just like, now he's going to go off into the sunset with, $76 million. And the question is, who's going to be next?
Yeah, I said today in the video that I made on this subject that if I get in a wreck or something and I pass away and I come back tomorrow, I want to be reincarnated as fired Jimbo Fisher. Never has to do anything again ever if he doesn't want to. He doesn't ever have to get off the couch again. I mean, that just to go to the mailbox once a month and pull that nice check out of there. I mean, they have to give him like a big lump sum, I think, like 25% of something like that of his salary.
Right.
So they give him a lump sum, and then he gets paid off every year.
Here's the thing: someone else will take a chance at him. I don't think he'll get another he's not going to get like an A&M job or something like that, but someone will go after him, and he's going to get another job, and he's still going to be getting paid a shit ton by A&M. Billy, welcome to the show.
Hey, a great day in the state of South Carolina yesterday. Great day.
It's always a great day in South Carolina, sir. That's how the state employees have to answer the phone. It's a great day in South Carolina. That's real.
With a smile. Well, they'll answer tomorrow with a smile. Upstate, lower state, middle state.
Yep.
Great wins. Congratulations to Missouri for absolutely beating the hell out of Tennessee. Pure total domination on both lines. No way about it. And that Schrader kid is a great running back.
Yeah,
he looked like one yesterday, didn't he?
Jesus.
Oh, something else. Drinkowitz was praising both of them in the post-game interview there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
and you can't miss out on Milroe yesterday for all the Milroe haters. He set an Alabama record. Only quarterback to ever have 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns in one game.
I mean, last year when that guy, when he first started seeing a little bit of action when he came in there against Arkansas when Bryce Young was out that game. I mean, he played really well. I mean, I thought that guy looked good, and all I've heard is just nothing but garbage hurled at him all off season. Oh, what are we going to do for quarterback? I mean, how are we going to? What are they doing? They're sitting here. What are they 9-1?
Yeah, I really doubt Nick Saban brings a kid into the program that can't play.
Yeah,
that's what amazes me. That's just like at Georgia. I really doubt Kirby didn't have another tight end that was huge and could catch the ball and run when Brock Bowers ruled out. I really don't think.
Well, I mean, Jackpot's buddy Oscar Delp, he can do some things. Jackpot, Oscar Delp.
There you go.
Yeah, I like him. That's one of my faves right there.
Yeah. By the way, Schrader leads the SEC in rushing, 1,124 yards on 197 attempts.
Wasn't just on us, was it?
Well, no, but the stat that got me was, and I'm not trying to rub your nose in it, but he's the first player in SEC history to have 200 yards on the ground and 100 yards receiving in one game.
Oh yeah,
that is
he did great. What I did, and I try to follow them, but I don't follow them in depth, statistics stuff.
Right.
But at the beginning of the thing, I did not know Tennessee was the leading rushing team in the SEC or third in the nation too. That just baffled my mind, but that all went to crap, didn't it?
Yeah.
And when I watched back on that, and Jackpot, your thoughts on that too. When I watched back, it just looked like Tennessee was just out of place. And I'm not ripping your team here, Billy. They just look like.
Oh, I agree.
They just look like they didn't belong. They really didn't.
I don't know what it was. I've always said it just depends on which team shows up.
Yeah. You said slow motion.
Yeah, it's just like a team just gets caught in slow motion and they're just in a funk and they're not themselves. That did not look like Tennessee.
No, it looked like they didn't want to be there for some reason. I don't know.
That looked like they had reverted back to the game plan or lack thereof against the Gators back in September.
Yep. Well, look at Alabama. They was up 20 to 7.5, and everything was looking good. And I told my wife, I said, no, this ain't over. And they come out there and reverted. I've never seen a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team as this.
They play like shit on the road. They really do. I mean, and this is something that if you look back at the stuff in Heupel's tenure, they're just not a really good team on the road. No. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that killer instinct that they have at home on the road.
They won't do any better this coming weekend either. So.
No, but they're going to be at home this weekend, and trust me, I think Saban will have some shit there, especially
Saban.
And Saban.
Saban.
Why am I thinking Saban? Why am I thinking Saban?
Kirby.
Kirby Smart will have something there for them. Like, look,
They'll
these
run up and down the field.
These guys are. You better take them seriously. Better take them seriously. So, it was.
Our secondary is horrible. It just. Like I said, I didn't understand yesterday. I looked at started watching. I said, it looks like they're going in slow motion or something.
Well, but if you look at it from this perspective too, though, LSU when they played Mizzou, they lit them up like a Christmas tree a lot with wide receivers and things like that. Tennessee didn't have that yesterday.
Nope,
they didn't.
Nope.
And I think that was part of what really screwed them over. To be completely honest with you, they couldn't get anything done. And Milton had some throws that I was like, "What in the blue hell is going on here?"
Yeah, he didn't play well.
Yeah, I mean,
he had good numbers. I think he had over 200 yards passing.
I get that, but I'm talking about there were some throws that he made that I said, how is this guy a Division I quarterback? That was some of the throws that he made. Now, I know that he's a 6-year player. He's 23 years old. So it's not like I'm different schools. Yeah, he's spent 3 years at Michigan, 3rd year at Tennessee, made probably $2 million in freaking NIL money. He can deal with the fact that some idiot in South Carolina says he played like shit yesterday, because he did. He really did. So
I think he had pretty good passing numbers, but he's I don't think if y'all have noticed or a lot, but here in East Tennessee, it's we all coaches here in East Tennessee, and they don't go fast anymore. You know why? Because he can't progress the.
He can't make the reads.
Nope, he can't do
it.
So
well, that's what Hooker was great at. Hooker could look and be like, "Oh, Hooker could make 3 reads in a matter of 2 seconds, and he knew where he was going with the ball, and he could put it there on a spot." Yeah. And yes, Milton can throw the ball 60 yards up from his knees and hit the end zone with it, but none of that.
Hooker was nothing but a Spencer Rattler with an orange helmet on.
Yeah, he was. But that goes to show you if you can get with a decent coach. But the other drawback on Milton, and if y'all watch it next week, when he breaks the huddle, he's staring at his receiver.
Yeah.
My son in high school. I was a DB coach in high school over in Okinawa, son, and my son will call me and say, "Dad, he's passing because he stares him down coming out of the huddle and looks at him." I mean, I don't know, but I'll let y'all go. Good wins yesterday for South Carolina, and happy belated Veterans Day to all in here, and we'll catch y'all later.
Catch you later, Billy.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it, man. All right, there you go. Let's see here. We'll take Billy out of the mix here. And, of course, people thought we were just going to run our mouths about Tennessee. You watch the game. They don't need us to kick them in the face.
No.
That was just not good at all.
That was farting upwind yesterday.
I have to apologize because I said I thought that Dorkowitz was going to cost them a game. Dorkowitz didn't have to coach in the damn fourth quarter.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, he could have blown 3 or 4 calls in the fourth quarter, cost them all 3 timeouts. They still would have won by 20 points. So there's that too. Biscuit with a great comment. Tennessee fans were saying that Milton was going to win the Heisman. I remember that. Bless their hearts.
Yeah, me too.
Todd wants to know what you think about Kentucky jackpot. I mean, you want to look early at that real quick before we move along?
Sure.
So I don't know if it's kind of hard to judge Kentucky after you're playing Alabama, who is, in my opinion, finding their spot right now. And especially with Nick Saban just walking around like he's just pissed off at the planet.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I think about Kentucky. I think they're a terrible team. I think they're not any good. I think they're one-dimensional. I think their quarterback sucks. So I don't know anything about their wide receivers right now. They got one named Dane Key that the Kentucky man told us last year was going to win SEC Freshman of the Year. It didn't happen. I think they're not very good, and I think South Carolina is going to beat them. So I would jump on this line right now while you can and bet South Carolina to cover that spread because they're not any good. They got a decent running game, but once again, yesterday, South Carolina did a fair job of stopping the run. And when we know that's what you're going to do, they can actually stop a run. If they know that's what's coming, they'll do all right. They can stop it. They'll give it up a few runs, but in the end, they're not going to be able to attack us vertically. It's not very good. So.
Well, the crazy thing is that normally I would like to argue with you and try to shit on the Gamecocks because that's just kind of what we do. But I don't think Kentucky's very good either. If you've noticed, we don't see any of these.
They're 6-4 right now. They're going to lose to South Carolina. We're going to beat them. They're going to be 6-5, and then they play Louisville. They normally beat Louisville. I don't see that happening this year. I think Louisville gets them, so they're 6-6. They'll be a 6-6 team again.
So their wins this season are over Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, Akron, Vanderbilt. I guess their biggest win of the season was the Florida game. They lost by 38 to Georgia, 17 to Mizzou, 6 to Tennessee. They did beat Mississippi State. Then they lost by 4 touchdowns to Alabama. Kentucky could drop their next 2 games, and no one up there would give a shit because it's basketball season.
Yeah, I mean, they get fat and happy every year early. It's all every year. Every year they get fat and sassy early in the season, and then they just start losing ball games. Yeah, nothing they've done impresses me. I guess you could say going to Starkville and finally win because they haven't won there since 2008. But I mean, to be fair, this was probably Mississippi State's worst team since 2008. So,
right.
I mean, nice win, but dot has an asterisk on it. Half their starters were out. So,
Biscuit says prediction: Washington and Florida State are going to steal playoff spots from 2 better teams. What do you mean by that, sir? And what I mean by that is that if they go through their season undefeated,
they're going to get
they win the Pac-12 and the ACC, they're going to go to the college football playoff as the 2 teams that were there. Now it's going to upset some people because let's just say I'm going to throw this out into the wind there.
Let's say Alabama beats Georgia.
Exactly. The
Alabama
CFP people
beats Georgia and wins the SEC.
Right.
Georgia could get left out.
They could. And the CFP's already laying the groundwork for that because that's why they have Georgia ranked, 4th? I think is what it was. I can't remember. I have to look back at the CFP rankings, but they don't have them at 1.
It was 2nd.
And, I got to look. Either way, they don't have them at
Ohio
1.
State was 1.
Right. And then,
and
then Michigan was 3, right?
And Florida State, yeah.
That's right. I'm sorry. I have my numbers mixed up there. The point is that they don't have them at number 1 at all. That way, if they do lose, they can be like, look, they weren't the top team anyway. And with that, they can just politely kick them right on out of the mix there. And I know that sounds silly, but that's what they're going to do. Because in their mind, they're not SEC apologists there. They don't give a shit about, oh, well, we think that this team is better because we put more draft picks in the NFL. They don't care about that. They look at it from the perspective of they won their Power 5 conference. They went 12-0, 13-0. That's better than a team that couldn't win their conference. It's just the way that it is. Now, if those teams squared off with Georgia may beat the holy fuck out of them. But then now we're starting to sound like Nick Saban at the rubber chicken dinners where he's like, we would have beat those teams that were in the playoffs. Well, then win your fucking games. I think if you got Kirby Smart in a room, he'd tell you the same thing. If we want to be in the playoff, we've got to beat Alabama. We have to do that if we want to get there. Same way with Saban too. Same way with Saban too.
Jay Shipe says Dogs will be number 1 tomorrow. Now, doesn't that come Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay, I thought we were.
Um,
I don't know what he was talking about there.
To be honest, though, I think that Georgia will beat Alabama because I think Milroe is so one-dimensional in the stuff that he can do, and I know he throws the ball a little bit, but I think the Georgia defensive line will wear him down, and he'll make mistakes in the third quarter. So, just my opinion.
Brock Lee posted a good question over there for you. How did you like getting a glimpse at the Goggle Gladiator?
We'll get Lisa's question in a moment about Arch Manning in the portal, but yeah, when I saw him play yesterday, my favorite was they just said, oh, he's 6'4" and weighs like 245 pounds. He took off like a dart out of the field there, out of the pocket. And some poor Vanderbilt defensive back that was probably 5'8", 160 pounds decided, you know what? I want to ride that train. He tried to hit him square in the hip, and he shook him off like he was a blueberry falling off of a plane. It just ran right on.
After it was over, I watched a little clip back on this YouTube channel called SF Cocking. They do all their touchdowns and big plays, and they have Todd Ellis's call in there on the play. And that defensive backs, they were bitching at each other after it was over with. It's like they were getting in an argument. Because I guess one of them missed his down assignment, and then, like you said, the other one just basically got ran over, like he wasn't even there.
It's just my favorite was the guy that just literally hit him and bounced off of him, and then this guy made a life choice. I'm going to try to hit this big mofo that's running in front of me here, and I'm not going to care about my own health. And I hope that my defensive backs coach sees this when we watch film on Sunday and maybe gives me an extra popsicle on the way out, because you're not – what in the blue hell are you doing?
Lawnmower Man says Jackpot needs a headset.
Yeah.
No, I don't. They don't make one big enough for my head.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Biscuit says I was repeating what he said. I'm sorry, Biscuit. I wasn't trying to steal your thought. Big old jug. Anyway, with that, Clemson won over Georgia Tech yesterday, and I'm laughing because the people that are running their mouths now about, oh, well, you should get in on the Clemson stock now while it's low, were the same dickheads who were saying, 4 weeks ago, this Clemson team sucks and blah, 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 blah. Just stop it. They're not good. They're not horrible, but they're not good. They're nothing to write home about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, they don't really do much of. I mean, they have certain things they do that are impressive, but on the offensive side of the ball, I think there's still issues at quarterback, and I think that Klubnik's going to transfer. Just my opinion. And they're going to run with Vizavina or whatever his name is next season because.
Yeah, I mean, all they're doing is yesterday, they beat who they should beat. They should beat Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is terrible. So, they didn't, NC State is terrible. There was absolutely no reason on God's green earth Clemson to lose that game to that team. They did, but yesterday, they found a way to, play a lot better, and they're actually beating teams that they should be beating. So we'll see. This Saturday, they've got North Carolina. I think they beat North Carolina. Unfortunately, UNC just kind of fizzled out a little bit as we got down the stretch. Don't look like the same team that we played the first week of the season. That Georgia Tech loss kind of did something to them. It was Virginia, I think, right? They lost to Virginia first.
They talking about they lost to Virginia and then they lost to Georgia Tech too. That's the two losses I believe for them on the season.
Georgia Tech, absolutely unexcusable. So
Yeah. And here's the thing. I wonder, especially with the transfer portal, who's going to be leaving, because that's going to happen. Who's going to go somewhere else? And I'm not just talking about Klubnik. There's other guys in the mix that may decide they want to go somewhere else. So, and here's the thing. Dabo Swinney hasn't planned for that because he thinks that people are just going to come there and stay there 3 years and go to the NFL. And I don't think he's planned for any of that.
Yeah, gone are the days when we have a Christian Wilkins coming back for his 4th year.
Right.
And so, yeah, that kind of stuff's not going to happen anymore. And somebody said something today. I was halfway joking on the Uncle Lou video where he did about Jimbo Fisher, and I just said, "You think, you think that that Dabo might be interested in the job?" And then the guy, some Clemson fan responded to me. He's like, "Dabo's not going anywhere for a long, long time." So blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I was fucking just joking, you fuck stick. I'm like, they don't want him. I'm like, he's more backwards and set in his ways than Jimbo Fisher was. But his isn't, Jimbo Fisher was backwards and set in his ways of, in terms of how they ran the offense and how they ran a team. Dabo's backwards and set in his ways about the whole transfer portal thing, the whole, NIL thing, and anything that's new, he doesn't want any part of it. So,
well, speaking of which, and coaches and going somewhere else, someone posted today, I can't remember where it was, but someone went and changed Shane Beamer's Wikipedia page to say that he was the Texas A&M coach.
Oh, good Lord.
I was like, oh, wow, which I thought was really, really funny. And the other one, someone also changed Deion Sanders, that he's now the Texas A&M head coach, which I don't think either one of them are going to Texas A&M, but what a mess.
Hell no. They're not hiring Shane Beamer. Did you get the Lord? Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to have to reach that low down the barrel. So no offense to Shane Beamer. I mean, he's a nice guy. I like him. I've already said I don't think that he's the man to lead South Carolina, to any new heights that we haven't seen. But I have no ill will towards the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the guy. Just not. But no, Texas A&M not hiring him. With a lot of interesting, interesting predictions stuff. Will you might say they think they go after Mike Elko.
Yeah, that's a good get.
Brock Lee says Biff Poggi to A&M. Yeah, no.
Ray, welcome to the program, sir.
One game at Charlotte.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hi, Ray.
Just a little bit of quick question. Of course, you guys know I'm a Florida State fan. We managed to play like shit and win another one, but hell, it is what it is. It's a rivalry game, but.
Brother, you're 8-0. 8-0.
Well, we're actually 8-0 in the conference, but we're 10-0 overall. So
all right, well, you're 10-0. You have nothing to complain about, in my opinion. You are 10-0. You have 2 games left. One of them is with shithole Florida, and I don't even know who's the one you got this week.
North Alabama.
Okay, you're going 12-0. You have a perfect season, regular season. You're going to play in the ACC championship game against Louisville, who is suspect at best. Right. You're at a hell of a season, sir. Oh, you can't call up here and be your team's 12.
I'm happy with the record. I know we're banged up and beat up a little bit, but I guess part of it is when you hate a team as bad as I hate Miami, you want to beat the fuckers 100-0. You know what I'm saying? And it felt like, you know what I'm saying?
You wanted to do to them what Mizzou did to Tennessee yesterday, which was, give them the old plunger up the rectum after what they did to them at Tennessee last year.
Right.
That's what you wanted to do. But
then I get a little frustrated, and then I look around and I see like, well, we didn't play that well, which that one touchdown that Miami got, I don't know how the heck that ball got through 2 defenders. the 85-yard touchdown right there that they scored in the second half. But it is what it is. But then I look at Texas. Hell, it took all they could do to beat TCU yesterday. And we know TCU's hot garbage. So I didn't feel so bad after that. So it seems like everybody is struggling down the stretch.
Nothing is easy for Texas.
What, buddy?
I said nothing's easy for Texas.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
I mean, they struggled with Houston.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Here's at the beginning of the season, I just wanted to make the ACC championship game and win it. Those are very attainable goals. If we make it that far, I'll be extremely happy as far as winning that. If we make the college football playoff and don't win a game, it's been a successful season. If you look back 2 years ago, we were 5-7 and a laughing stock of not only the conference,
lost
whole
to Jacksonville
college football.
State.
Exactly. So, but the main reason I called is I'm such a lover of John James Fisher as a former FSU head coach, so I hate him. But my question with the transfer portal, do you think with them firing him will keep players to stay, or will that make players want to leave? What do you guys think about that?
At A&M?
Yeah,
well, I mean, if
absolutely.
it comes down to money, then I think they'll win some, they'll lose some, I would think, right? Right. But here's the thing, which we know Dabo's going to have to open up to the transfer portal. I mean, he don't have to. He don't have to do anything he doesn't want to do, but it seems like that's the way of the future. That's how you fill your holes, and you supplement it with your top 10 and top 5 recruiting classes. But at FSU with Norvell, he's all about getting really good players, but he's all about a culture fit too. And I just think some of the teams that go strictly, well, look at Ole Miss. Now they've won a lot of games, we know, going through the portal, but the games that mattered, they get their ass whipped. You know what I'm saying? Is that a product of Lane Kiffin being a soft ass coach, or is it just the SEC just that good this year? Other than Georgia,
I think he's just not good. They're just not. I don't know. They beat the teams that they should be able to beat, and they're just not able to get over the hump. There's something missing there.
Right. Yeah, I would kind of tend to agree with that. Even Georgia, if you'll have to admit up to Georgia standards, although they're starting to play a heck of a lot better toward the end of the season, I don't think this team could touch last year's Georgia team. Would you agree with that?
Defensively, last year's Georgia team was just pretty much dominant.
Exactly. So, and as far as SEC as a whole, which, hey, nothing made me happier than Missouri to beat Tennessee. I'm not a Tennessee fan. Those guys are absolute hillbilly idiot rednecks up there that all they have to do is win a couple games, and, they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And Josh Heupel, whatever the hell his name is.
John Hopeful.
Yeah, hopeful. He's hopeful that they can win the SEC. But I got news for him. The SEC is going away with divisions. And so guess what? It's the best 2 teams after that. Tennessee's through. They're finished. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah. I'm laughing because you were with Mizzou yesterday, and I missed this part, Jackpot, but apparently Dorkowitz was being Dorkowitz. When he came off the sideline after the game, he told Jenny Dell, he cut her off when she was asking her first question with Tennessee state champs. And then he said, we had some business from last year. We came out and took care of business. Great win. Our defense kicked their ass.
Yeah. If you'll remember last year, they ran the score up.
I know, but you still, Jackpot, there's only 12 SEC coaches in the entire fucking country right now. He is one of those 12 making $5 million a year. And he just basically told the University of Tennessee they were Tennessee state champs. And our defense kicked their ass last night. He sounds like he should just come on this fucking program with us. What an asshole. If I'm a Tennessee fan, I am livid. I am absolutely livid that that's what this idiot said to us. I mean, this guy looks like the only thing he saw in high school were Star Wars posters, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying this guy is a doofus, and he just clowned your program.
Well, Rob, did he say anything that you didn't agree with?
No, but I'm not gonna have to go to damn Knoxville next season and play against any Tennessee team. And if they could, I have to believe what the Tennessee dirtbags said it the other day about in SEC media days, where if they could hang half 100 on South Carolina, they would. If they can hang half 100 on Mizzou next year, they are going to.
I'm quite sure they will, but
he didn't do shit to help his team with the stuff that's coming on now.
Well,
wow.
I kind of get that, Rob, but to the point, every year is different now with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
You basically have a different team every year. I mean, for real. Normally you build and all right, these guys will be our frontline guys next, but you don't know what your team's going to be next year.
Jackpot and I both are fans of the Mazodcast. He should contract out the Mazodcast to talk smack for him, because the Mazodcast isn't going to have to go to freaking Neyland Stadium and have to deal with all those people that are there, and they could say the things that Drinkowitz wants to say, but right. Drinkowitz probably shouldn't be saying those things.
Well, they don't play next year.
Oh, that's
here's the deal, Rob.
Yeah.
If you really look at it, which I mean, I know this sounds crazy. As a Florida State fan, I really like Steve Spurrier, and no one talked more shit than that man. Okay, and basically,
I mean, he did. I remember, you can't spell citrus without UT. I remember that.
Right.
And I remember
Free Shoes University talked about Florida State. Free Shoes University. The guy, just say what you want to say. They've got to whip your ass or not whip your ass. Who cares?
Yeah, but
love them or hate
there's a difference though. Steve Spurrier is Steve Spurrier. Eli Drinkowitz is not fucking Steve Spurrier.
I guess you got a point there, Rob.
Let's
I admire the man for saying it. Anyway, guys, enjoy the show. Have a great night.
All right, appreciate it, Ray.
Yeah, you remember?
I didn't know he said that. That's hilarious.
Do you remember back in like 2012 when he said something about that team from the upstate? He's like we struggled with it, but we were able to get by them. He was like, they've had some big conference wins this year. He said they had some big out of conference wins, and he said we dang near got beat by them. He's like, we were able to pull it out one way or the other. He said, yeah.
But look
Wofford really snuck one in on us.
Yeah.
That was at the basketball game, I think.
Yeah. So with that though, I mean, I remember you weren't supposed to. He called Clemson the team from the upstate, and
even the last. No, it wasn't. Well, it was the next to last bowl victory he ever had there after that Wisconsin Capital One bowl game there.
Right.
That last year of Connor Shaw. I mean, he was even clowning them then. Getting that trophy, winning this trophy, he said, well, this Capital One trophy is pretty special. He said, I tell you what, that state championship trophy ain't bad neither.
Todd wants to know, we will be at Callaway's not this Friday, but the following Friday, the 24th, I think is the date on it. Hold on, let me make sure I got the numbers right here. I think it's the 20. Where's my calendar? Come on, open up. Yeah, it's like not this Friday, but the following Friday. I'll be there in the morning at 11 to be there for the Golden Tee tournament.
I thought you were going to be helping stock potato chips.
Well, I figured I would be done stocking potato chips from 5 to 10, and I could drive my ass back to Columbia.
Okay.
I'm gonna fuck up your potato chips. If I'm on that potato chip truck with you, first of all, you got to buy snacks. You don't want to do that. And second of all, and I'm gonna put like the
What do
salt.
you mean I don't want to do that?
Because I like snacks, motherfucker. That's why. And I'll put the salt and vinegar chips in with the hot honey chips, and I'll turn them upside down and shit because
That's all right. They'll still sell.
they'll still sell.
It's the holiday weekend. It's the
holiday weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be busy. They'll sell and that. But speaking of that, we're talking about basketball there for a minute. So South Carolina and Clemson basketball teams both start off 2-0. Both teams winning at home last Monday night, and then this past Friday night, both teams getting a win in the state of North Carolina in a neutral site games.
South Carolina got the win over Virginia Tech. That's a good win. So
it is a good win. And a win that surprised me. I actually, I like to take my money and I'll just make a lot of. I make just a lot of $10 bets here and there, just so I can win $9, and that just builds up my bankroll. And if I lose, then I don't have to, worry about I just lost everything I got here. But that's one I actually, excuse me, bet on Virginia Tech to cover the spread. I think it was 6. And I fell asleep on the game right after it first started, and I woke up, and it was halftime, and we were up by 6, and I'm like, uh-oh. And we win by 2. That's a good, what you call, quad 1 win for South Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's quad 1. It depends on what kind of team. Virginia Tech might not be any good. I don't know, but
when you win against a Power 5 opponent, I mean that is a big deal. And winning a game that early is a big deal. So I can't take anything away from South Carolina.
I mean, I think South Carolina's going to have a better team. The kid from Wofford, BJ Mack, he's a good player. The Miles Stute, the one from Vanderbilt's a good player. Michi Johnson's a good player. I think they just, they put us in last place in the conference, and I don't know. These college basketball preseason magazines, I hardly really even pick them up and look at them that much anymore because, number one, there's so many. I used to look at them a lot when I was a kid, and I used to really get into it. But now, I mean, there are just so many fucking teams. I mean, that you can't possibly keep up with all of it. And also, I mean, I don't think half of them even really know what they're writing about, what they're doing, because so much of the stuff takes precedence over basketball, like football. It kind of dominates it, and then when you're ready to play basketball, nobody's really. I don't think they've really put a lot of thought into it. Thought that South Carolina just kind of got shoehorned into that last place spot, just because they had a terrible record last year and they lost Gigi Jackson, and nobody. It's kind of like the Syracuse football syndrome, where they just get shoehorned into last place in the ACC just because. Well, I mean, this year it looks like they actually might finish there, so that might actually come true. But that's what I think happened with us.
I think that you're right about that, and I think a lot of the people that write a lot of these basketball previews and shit like that, they're all North Carolina and Duke apologists. Oh, North Carolina and Duke going to be good. Let me rub one out for North Carolina and Duke. I can't deal with it. But, we'll have plenty of time to talk basketball later on.
When is Wake Forest going to step back up to the plate in basketball? They used to be really good.
Yeah, they had Tim Duncan and
Randolph Childress.
Chris Paul played there too. So
yeah, they haven't been worth a shit in a while, it seems like.
Marla wants to know when we're going to be at Callaway's the day after Thanksgiving. I will be there at about 11. Jackpot will be there whenever Jackpot gets there. But come by and hang out. It's going to be a good time.
I'll be there 2 minutes before the show starts.
Yeah, Jackpot's going to walk in. Where's the beer? Where's my microphone? Shut the hell up. We got to go. We got shit to do. Anyway, Yeah, JT says your team is bad when you talk basketball in November. Yeah, I'm with you on that. There are a lot of teams that are that way, and I think Kentucky's more that way now. With I don't know if they give a shit about football anymore. We'll see how that works out for them. The more and more I look at it, I really think South Carolina might mop the floor with them this coming week, and then the Palmetto Bowl comes up, and it's going to be the Clemson Tigers playing Jackpot's South Carolina Gamecocks for a bowl bid, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh.
Well, Clemson's already going to have what they've already
I
won
know,
this,
but
yeah.
South Carolina's going to need that win to get to the two Who Gives a Fuck Bowl jackpot. You got to have it. Got to have
That's
it.
true,
So,
but I mean, you got to admit, if they do reel off 4 in a row, I mean, that'd be kind of impressive after, what they have come from. But, I mean, first things first, they got to win this weekend. So
Lisa wants to know, what are our thoughts about Arch Manning? Well,
what's the deal with Arch Manning?
There's some people have been saying, well, maybe he's going to transfer from Texas and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to quote the gentleman that's to my right, who said in a video the other day that I watched that he put out about when you have these kids that go to these small Christian schools and play football, they're just not very good. I think that's kind of the gist of what you said. They don't play against really, better players. So when you watch Arch Manning's high school film, he's the biggest kid on the field. Literally. I mean, he could be playing defensive end out there as big as he was. And then when he goes to Texas, because he wrote the name of Manning, it was on the back of his jersey. And then he gets there and, Quinn Ewers goes down and they're like, well, we need to put this other guy in there. And they end up going with the guy that was supposed to be the third string quarterback instead of Arch Manning. If Arch Manning doesn't transfer, I don't think he cares about football. I really don't. He's not going to play. They've already pretty much told him that.
Wow.
Right?
I mean,
that's what you said. I mean, about the small Christian schools. I mean, it's essentially the same thing, right?
Yeah, that was with Jordan Birch, being so taffy and just average as shit. And he's still average as shit. I looked at his numbers from yesterday at Oregon: 2 tackles, 1 solo.
Boogie Huntley played with him there at the Hammond School, and he's actually turned out, once he's developed, to be a pretty good player.
Yeah,
pretty good player at South Carolina.
Yeah, he has. I was saying yesterday in the live stream that, and I was saying this back when Birch was still on the team, that he gets all the accolades and everybody talks about him. When's he going to break out? When's he going to be the star that we thought he could be? When's he going to be played like a 5-star? Well, the whole time, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. His buddy Alex Boogie Huntley quietly becoming one of the best defensive linemen on the team.
Yep. So there's that. Someone, where do you think
the Mad Tea Sipper is typing pretty angry over there in the comment section. He said he was asked about it, and he said he was happy at Texas and he isn't going anywhere. Okay, yeah, well, a player never told a lie.
Yeah. Nick Saban never said he was going. Said he was never leaving Miami either. He wasn't going to Alabama.
I don't know anything about the situation. I hadn't heard him say yes or no.
Look, I'll give you this.
I can do to keep up with my shitty team.
Yeah, well, I'll stand by what I said. He was basically told, "Look, you came in, you were highly he's had all the accolades and everything else. This other guy goes down, he doesn't get to play." I mean, Sarkisian has basically put the writing on the wall. If he doesn't transfer, he doesn't like football, in my opinion. He doesn't want to play. Go sit on the sideline. That's what he's doing. So
the biscuit says, "What is Arch supposed to say?" Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got coach speak and you got player speak. But we used to talk about Lou Holtz and how he would, make any team that Notre Dame was fixing to play sound like they're, the next contender for national champion next year. Like, they asked him about Navy, and he said that the University of the Navy team that we're getting ready to play this Saturday is probably the best University of the Navy team that they've had since Roger Staubach was there. Which is right. I mean, that he said exactly what he's supposed to. He's not. I mean, he can't just get a microphone and say they blow fucking ass and we're going to beat them by 50. What else do you want me to say here?
Rich says, I'm here to hear the U of F fans talk about how they will spend the holidays at home with no bowl. Is Florida Bowl eligible yet? What is Florida's record?
No,
I know they're
not.
losing to Florida. Oh,
They're
wow.
5-5.
Rich may be correct on that. And by the way,
They're going to finish 5-7. They're losing to Mizzou on Saturday, and then they'll lose to Florida State.
Yeah, that may happen. Rich is correct. And by the way, Rich probably remembers this too. What they went to was it last year they went to a bowl game, or was it the year before when they played UCF and they lost the game and then they lost the fight afterwards?
Yeah, it was the year that
fucking
was
UCF.
That was the end of the 2021. Last year they got their shit kicked in by the Beavs. And that's when they had that Jack Miller guy playing quarterback who was just absolutely horrible. The Beavs beat them like 30. It was 35-3, I think, and they instead of let's try to punch a touchdown in at the end. Instead, Billy Napier puts his balls in Mama Napier's purse. It goes and kicks a field goal with like 20 seconds left to avoid a damn shutout. Instead of trying to damn score. Some of these teams piss me off. Like, yesterday I want to explain it. I've talked about how Uncle Lou does the rigged wheel every Saturday morning during his show before the game started at noon. And yesterday, for the second time this season, I won the rigged wheel. And so I was set to get 3 times back the money that I sent him, which I sent him $10. And I took the I took the over in the Rutgers versus Iowa game. I said that number is just too low. It's too low. Well, I tuned in with about 5 minutes to go, and it's 15-0 Iowa. They score, it's 22-0, and then they get the ball back with like a minute left to go, and hell, they could have scored. And instead of trying to punch another one in against Rutgers, they just sit on the fucking ball. Shock. That made me so damn mad that I spent 10 minutes of my life watching the last 5 minutes of that damn game.
Welcome, Gamecock Sporty, to the show. What's up, buddy? This is where you talk.
Yeah, good evening.
How you doing?
Doing pretty well. Another good weekend of college football, week 11.
Where are you going? Are you going to take a leak?
Yeah, what the hell? Are you just running around your dorm room down there? Are you hiding one of them hookers? What's going on there, Sporty?
Nah, I don't have that. I don't have that kind of roots. I was just getting my glasses. That's all.
He's got a flag like the one we used to have outside the house.
Okay. Well, anyway, your internet's spotty tonight because you're just kind of floating as he's now his frame is frozen there. Biscuit wants to know if your camera's from 1998. He's in college, Biscuit. Don't mock the man. He's living off ramen noodles and half-drunken Mountain Dew. Leave that kid alone. What's wrong with you, man?
You gotta get a loan for your parents to buy some duck and ramen noodles now, Rob. Them bitches. I made a damn video about that. I don't mean to interrupt anybody.
Yeah.
About that shit back in like March. I went in Food Lion and a pack of damn ramen noodles was 79 cents. I'm like, what the hell? It was like 10 for $1 when I first started working in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Even when I left Ingles. I mean, I think they were like 3 for $1, 79 cents. Shit.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, do you eat ramen in your dorm there, Gamecock?
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, I fit the stereotype.
You're not on the meal plan down there. I mean, they've got some. You know, you can get you a, what is it, the Gamecock card and go to the Chick-fil-A campus, or
I'm on I'm on a meal plan, but it's like a smaller meal plan to where like I use my meal plan a little bit on campus. I have a small meal plan. I use it a little bit sometimes on campus, and then I also cook for myself sometimes.
What is the meal plan, Rob? Is that like the student's version of the EBT card?
no, it's like you get like you have a card and you go like to certain spots on campus. I'm guessing.
Food.
Yeah, you go and get food with it. It's sort of like having
an EBT card.
No, it's not an EBT card. It's like a prepaid credit card.
So it's not food stamps.
But it's not food. It's not food stamps, Jackpot. What the hell's wrong with you?
I'm just asking.
No, it's not. It's basically
we didn't have meal plans when I went to college. I mean, you went to eat them.
Well, yeah, you went to the mess hall, etc. But it's basically you can go to the different restaurants they have around campus and you can eat there. Is basically what it boils down to. Am I right, Gamecock? That's what it is, right?
You have a card, and you pretty much just go there.
Yeah. So there's that. But you don't do that. You have a smaller meal plan, so you're eating some top ramen and some and on Sundays you get some ham. So you have some meat on Sundays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm picking. All right, anyway. What do you have for the show this evening, buddy?
Hey, just wanted to talk a little bit about I don't know. I like talking a little bit about the SEC. What do y'all think about Missouri destroying Tennessee? That made my day.
I thought Missouri would beat them. I didn't think they were going to beat them that bad. Tennessee just didn't show up. I mean, they weren't ready. Not only were they not ready to play, I mean, they just got out-coached, outworked. It was just, they had nothing for them. Brady Cook destroyed them with his legs, and that Schrader kid. I don't know what. I mean, you can't. I said he was an average ass back, and I take that back. I totally stick my foot in my mouth when I said that. That guy is he's really good. I mean, he wore their ass out, catching the ball and running the ball. So,
Brock
wants to be a Tennessee Vol.
Brock wants to know if you're wearing those glasses in honor of Lenora's Sellers. They kind of look like Sellers glasses there.
They do.
Oh,
yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I had to apologize to the Mizzou fan because I thought that their coach was a dork and they were going to lose because of him, but he didn't even have to coach.
Drinkson?
Oh, you think Drinkson?
Really good sideline caller. Good sideline play caller, and he's a solid coach in my opinion. It's just taken him a few years to get things going at Missouri. I mean, it's logical to think he's not great because he's had this 4 years where he hasn't really, or 3 years where he hasn't really done anything. He's gone he's gone like 500 each of the years prior, but I think he's starting to turn things around.
Well, if you look at last year's results, they have 3 losses that were really close losses. They lost a close game to Georgia, lost a close game to Auburn. They lost at Florida by a touchdown. I mean, so that team I think was a little bit better than the record indicated. If one break had went their way in those 3 games, they could have been like a 9-3 team last year.
You feel the same way about South Carolina this year, Jackpot? Do you think that you're a break or 2 away from being a 5-win team right now? Maybe a 6-win?
I think that they're a bunch of missed fucking tackles and taffy-ass play away from being that. But let's not forget, I mean, they look like shit in some of those games. They look like shit the second half against Georgia. They look like shit the entire game against Tennessee. They look like shit for large parts of the game against Texas A&M. What am I leaving at? Look like
Florida.
Look like homemade shit, homemade grown shit against North Carolina.
Yeah.
No, what about you're forgetting the Florida game? Did they look like double homemade shit there?
I don't even want to fucking talk about it. It was fucking horrible. How are you up by 10 points with 2 minutes left and lose a fucking game?
Well, you're South Carolina. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you are. It's ridiculous.
I broke. I didn't.
Biscuit wants to do you.
I didn't go to that game. I was watching that game live.
Yeah. Go ahead. If you're watching it live, go ahead. All right. Well, listen, Gamecock, your internet is spotty. You're in and out, buddy, but you're always welcome on the program, man. Thanks for checking us out. All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I went back and watched a little bit of my live stream from that game, and you can see in there, without it even being said, you just fast forward exactly to the spot where the touchdown pass to Pearsall happened, because my head just goes. I just did the jackpot. Oh shit! Nod.
Oh, what a mess! What a mess!
It's horrible.
That's the loss I think that'll sting you the most going into the, especially if you come up a game short of making a bowl bid. That one there, I mean, you lost to a 5-7. What's going to be a 5-7 Florida team that is a shithole. I mean, they are a shithole, Jackpot. They are really bad.
They are, and I mean, to be fair, I mean, we dominated them for lots of that game, large portions of it. I mean, but they just let them hang around, and defense, played like shit, like it always does, and then it just had an epic collapse in the fourth quarter, and it was kind of inevitable. I mean, I could almost see it coming, and then when my head hit the pavement, it's when I realized that my premonition was correct.
Todd says he drove 700 miles to be at the Florida game.
Thank goodness I was averted driving 700 miles to Mizzou. Oof. Oof.
Yeah, I imagine that would have been
that wasn't even competitive.
No, you would have been Jackpot. That would have been a shitty ride home. I mean, that would have been.
I would have probably gotten there. I would have probably smarted off and probably talking shit. Probably about got into a fight or something. I mean, it probably wouldn't have been. Yeah, the last 2 times I went to road games, I haven't. Well, last year I just kind of gotten a little bit of a fussing match with someone there. It was I'm assuming they were Vanderbilt fans. They were kids, and they kept boo, boo, and they were when we would do the cheer, because I mean we outnumbered those people like 3-1 in their own stadium when we did the USC Go Cox, dun 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 dun, and these fucking idiots were like would do they would say USC sucks Cox, and this just acting like retards, and then they just say Carolina sucks. And after the third touchdown pass there, where Josh Van caught the touchdown pass there on the fucking head of the little Vanderbilt cornerback, and made it was like 21-7 at halftime. I turned around to this fat fuck, and I'm like, you know what? Don't suck. That don't suck. The scoreboard don't suck. I said, maybe the team you're pulling for sucks. And then there's some Vanderbilt fans up there, and I'm talking and I'm like, y'all hadn't done shit. And there was an old guy sitting out here who had this dirty ass Vanderbilt hat on. I'm like, y'all ain't been relevant. I said, since his damn hat was clean.
Oh shit.
Anyway, and then I turned around, there was this guy and girl sitting over there. They were Gamecock fans, and they told me, they said, oh shit. They're like, he left. I'm like, he left? Like, yeah, he just got his stuff in his program and he just left. Like, I think you ran him out of the damn stadium. I'm like, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to leave him around and laugh at some more.
Yeah, that's not good. Jackpot is clowning Vanderbilt fans. I did not know that story, sir.
Yeah, it really was.
Well, anyway. With that, I mean, we got games we're gonna put out this week. The Jackpot sent me the list this morning because I think I picked them last week. He picked them this week. So here are the games: Gamecocks versus Kentucky, Clemson versus UNC. I'm reading them straight from the text message here. Georgia versus Clown College, Mizzou versus Gators.
That's not Florida State.
Louisville at Miami, Utah at Arizona, UCLA at Southern Cal, UNLV at Air Force that just lost to Hawaii.
Yeah, I was kind of unaware of that when I picked that one. So yeah, that's my bad. So fuck it.
Washington at Oregon State, Kansas State at Kansas. The battle of Sunshine
the Sunflower State rivalry. There's two big rivalry games in there: the USC UCLA game, and then that game.
Yeah, and then finally the Kale Hall shitter this week: Cal at Stanford. Ugh.
You know, do me a favor when you're posting up the lines for those things like Tuesday or whenever you're going to do it. Look through there and find us something else to replace UCL or UNLV and Hawaii. Fuck that. Or UNLV and Air Force. That's not valid anymore.
Oh, okay. I'll find something to replace it. We'll see where we can go from there. But
give us some West Virginia action or something.
You want some Well, hold on. We'll pick it right now. So this week we'll look at it right now before we get out of here. We've got one game to replace in week 12.
Lawnmower Man over here with a very vague statement. I used to like some teams, but some YouTubers have turned me off.
Yeah.
Who you talking about there?
I don't know who is he talking about me or you or
no?
I don't know.
He's not talking about us. He's fine. He's over here almost every chat. I don't know who he's talking about.
All right, Jackpot. North Carolina State and Virginia Tech. Maybe Virginia Tech looking pretty decent.
Hey, that's a good one. Go with that.
All right, well, we'll go with that one. Even though Southern Miss and Mississippi State.
I thought about that one for the Kale Hall.
The shitter. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that I think that's gonna take the cake there. By the way, someone retweeted out earlier about Sam Pittman maybe getting the axe down at Arkansas. Did you see that?
That's gonna be sad. I'm gonna be upset to see those big titties walking out the door.
Yeah, he may be. Maybe
hopefully he'll give us a side view.
Wait. Did you just say you wanted to see Sam Pittman's side boob? What the hell's wrong with you?
A side view of those titties. Somebody said something about some coach. Yeah, in the video, somebody said something about Jimbo Fisher. They're like, he's had some really amazing blue eyes, and I'm like, yeah. You take those and put them with Sam Pittman's big double D jugs, you're gonna have a hell of a good looking woman.
I say we end the show on that. I can't go anywhere else.
A perfect 10.
You guys, God damn it! I'm not gonna sit here and talk about fucking the blue eyes of Jimbo Fisher and the fired teats of Sam Pittman.
Well, I mean, okay. Brock Lee said that Lawnmower Man that he was talking about Sports Talk J. Surely not. Come on. I like Sports Talk J.
I get my Tennessee news from BVD, but if I didn't have BVD, I would probably do the Sports Talk J thing because at least he's not a complete douche tip. So there you go.
No,
there's the douche for Sports Talk J.
Speaking of douche tips, did you listen to the Mazodcast from this past week?
I did listen to.
Yeah, they were talking about Shane Beamer and that when they did the segment around the SEC and we're talking about the press conferences and that they said they're like the things that he's saying are not things that other coaches don't say. They're not necessarily things that aren't true. They're like it's just the way that it comes off when he says it. He's so condescending. They said he has just this punchable face, which. I mean, I think a lot of us have agreed that Eli Drinkowitz has the punchable face quality
Yeah,
as well.
They said that before Eli Drinkowitz walked off the field and called them Tennessee State champs and said a great win. Our defense kicked their ass. Stop it, Mazodcast.
He said, and they said that Beamer and he said, yeah, he's definitely got some douche DNA going on there. I thought that was hilarious.
All right. Well, anyway, we've had a good show. Don't forget the live show coming up. Not this Friday, but the following Friday.
Yep.
Good time. So make sure you tune in for that.
The Fat Tipsy Super says, I bet Sam Pittman lactates.
Jesus.
That could be. You just thought that was sweat on his polo.
And with that, the show's